Hi, I'm Christine Weber. I love supporting mature yoga teachers and getting your wisdom out there into the world. Today, I want to talk about how do you bring beginners into your chair yoga classes. And I want to give you 3 tips for thinking about how to provide chair yoga classes for people that have never done yoga before. Okay, so the first tip is don't try to do standing yoga poses in a chair. You will see this all over YouTube and you see it in all sorts of chair trainings. It's not a good idea and it doesn't work well. So what I mean by that is you'll see people teaching things like a warrior one like this, and while that might feel good to you as a yoga teacher, and it can work for people who don't have mobility issues, it really doesn't work well for beginners. It requires way too much flexibility and mobility. And people who are coming to chair yoga classes, it's a problem. So then you'll see people do things like, okay, well, instead of doing warrior one like that or warrior two, what if I just took my leg out like that? It's the same. It's just leave it out. Just forget about that, because chair yoga is an entirely different situation. And people come to chair yoga for lots of different reasons. It might be fatigue. It's often mobility. I've worked with tons of people with strokes it doesn't make any sense to try and take these yoga poses that are from a regular yoga class and put them in. It just doesn't make any sense. We need a totally different approach. So leave that out of your approach and start thinking about, how can I work in a chair in a way that works really well for people and feels comfortable and is providing wonderful benefits of yoga without some of the risk attached to trying to adapt things to a chair. Okay, now the second thing I want to say is that doesn't mean you can't stand up. So the second part is stand up in chair yoga classes. So folks that can do standing poses, we want to get them up, and now we have the chair as a wonderful support. Make sure that the chair is sturdy. Make sure that it's not going to fall over on them. But we can use it for things like tree pose. We can use it for lateral bend poses. We can use it to play with, and I try not to move the chair around a lot when I'm teaching, but I do. I'll do it to demonstrate, but I don't want people to move their chair. Now we can play with, can I do a little more abduction with my legs and feel comfortable there? Can I do a lateral bend from here? Can I do a twist from here? Can I do something like a lunge from here or a warrior one from here? So that makes a lot more sense than trying to do it in a chair. Now you will have people that can't stand up. That's okay. And for their part of the pose, they can be doing the arm work. They can be playing with a little bit of abduction and adduction from their knees. Great. Like, those are good things to work with. We can work with the ankles a lot in the chair classes. I don't know if you can see my ankles. We can do lots of ankle stuff with lifting the heels up, lifting the toes up, making circles with the ankles. I mean, the main thing is that you're being really creative. You get trained, of course, being really creative and thinking about movement that makes sense within the boundaries of the mobility possibilities for the people in the room. So the first one is don't try and adapt regular standing poses to a chair. It's not a good idea. And the second one is, if people can stand up, offer that as an option. The third thing I want to say for beginners, working with beginners in chair yoga, is please don't do a lot of flexion, right? A lot of forward bends, or some people call them forward folds. It's not great unless you have a lot of mobility. So there's a lot of better ways to work with flexion than from seated. What happens when you're seated is that the lumbar spine is loaded. We're taking the body weight into the lumbar spine because it's not being distributed through my legs. And then you add flexion to that, and that can be a big problem for folks with low back issues, and also potentially with osteoporosis. So you just need to know from their provider whether or not that's okay. And you'll see these chair yoga classes where people are reaching down and holding the chair, or even holding the back of the chair, and it's like, no, Not a good idea. Now we can do a little flexion, especially if you're up at the front of the chair and you do a lot of nice lengthening and you're pulling the belly in and doing a little bit of roundness. And like for some people, that's totally fine. You're much better telling people how they can lie down in their bed and take their knees to their chest, because like giving them advice or giving them homework to do between the classes, because that's a great way to stretch your back. Lying on your back and knees to chest is a great way to stretch your back. But doing it in a chair is not. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is that if the ground rules for new people coming to chair yoga class are that if you cannot get up and down from the floor by yourself, then you shouldn't be getting on the floor at all. And you can offer them, like, these are the things you can do in your bed, but it's really not your place to be helping people get up and down. If they can get up and down and do them with the chair, then that's great. But you shouldn't be helping them get up and down. It's a medical situation. So I hope these are really helpful for you. Let me know, please like and subscribe. Let me know if you want me to show you some other things about chair yoga in future videos. Thanks so much for being here.